out of apartment 5B.
You're now tuned into the Apartment 5B podcast, where we chop it up about hip-hop, R&B, sports, love and life. Hosted by Kill.
What's good? You are tuning in to the Apartment 5B podcast hosted by your man Kill. I got my squad in effect with me as always. I got my brother Tone from Into the Dome. What's good, bro?
What's good, fellas?
All right. I got my brother Nell trying out the NO. What's going on, baby?
Peace, man. It's happy to be here, bro.
No doubt. Man, it's a somber time that's bringing us together real quick. Oh, shout out to my moms. That's her in the background up here in Philly. So for all people I was talking about my mom being a jazz musician. To see her back there with her bassoon, her flute, her saxophone. So definitely have her in the background to salute her and everything like that. But let's jump right into it, yo. We lost a legend this week, y'all. You know what I mean? And I know that title gets thrown around so loosely now in 2025, but I mean a true to heart legend with the passing of D'Angelo. Man, it was just a hurt piece, man. Like, and the crazy part was it came on my 25th wedding anniversary. So I'm on this high and I'm at work and my man texts me like, yo, you heard? And I'm like, heard what? And then he sent me the link. I'm like, yo, you know what I mean? We gonna talk about this show. You know, if you rock with us for a salute show, usually we're doing these before somebody has passed away to make sure they get their flowers. This is definitely a fuck up on my part because as much as I love, like, people who know me know it was Prince, then D'Angelo. Like, that was it for me. Like, I know everybody bugging, like, what about Mike? For me, it was Prince and it was D'Angelo. So I understand y'all call me crazy, whatever like that. But for me, these were my favorites. So like losing Prince and then coming back and losing this. And we're going to talk about why D'Angelo was so important to me, because me and Nate was like really going down a rabbit hole with these stuff to kind of talk about that. But we're going to do all that, our top 5 favorite songs, albums, legacies, remixes, just all that good stuff. So let's talk about this. When was the first time, Tone, you heard about D'Angelo?
In college, man. I want to say the Brown Sugar joint. I believe that was the first joint I heard on the radio. And I was like, and the whole neo soul, Janet already had like the Velvet Rope, I believe, but somewhere around that time. Well, during that era was a lot of good stuff going on. And I remember hearing him. I might be off with the Janet part, but I was like, yo, dude got soul, obviously. I heard that Prince influence like really quick with his voice, you know what I'm saying? But also the old soul of Motown within that Brown Sugar song. And even though we had a bunch of dope music at that time, hearing D'Angelo's voice for the first time for me and then hearing the production, it took me back to those early eras of R&B and soul that I missed. You know what I'm saying? Because, it was a void to me, man. And he instantly, when I heard that, I was like, this different, bro. And we all know, like, in every genre of music, you hear something, whether you heard Madonna in the early 80s or Hall & Oates, you're like, that's different. You heard Earth, Wind & Fire in the 70s, man, that's different. Nas, man, that's different. When I heard D'Angelo, I'm like, man, that's people don't sound like him on the radio right now.
Right.
And just me being a huge Prince fan too, I just heard the influence. I know we'll get into all that stuff in the show, but I was like, wow, when I first heard him, man. I thought he was going to be something special, and he ended up being that.
Right. What about you, Neltron?
Well, it was 1995. I was in high school, and I saw the video first. So he's on the elevator with the old timer, and you see Ali Shaheed Muhammad, and I'm like, what's going on? And then he gets on the keys, lights his cool on Newport. And I'm like, Tone, I never heard anything like that. It had Motown, soul, R&B, hip hop flair to it, and he plays those keys, and I'm just like, who is this dude? And they played the radio, the Brown Sugar, and like, I gotta get this. So I go to the store, I get the CD, and I'm looking on the back cover. He got on Tim's, the jacket. I'm like, I never seen this before, man. You know, it was like kind of like H-Town had the hip hop vibe to it. Jodeci had but D'Angelo he just came in at the right time, man. So Brown Sugar was the first song I heard from him. And I'm like, yeah, I'm in it, you know?
Yeah, it's crazy. Same. I mean, it definitely was Brown Sugar. Now, here's the funny part. I had I think I got like the 12-inch in the mail or something like that at EAA. And, you know, it was produced or co-produced by Ali Shaheed Muhammad. You know what I mean? So that's kind of what piqued my interest in the first place, because I'm like, okay, I still don't know if this is the time when I already knew Tip was the one doing the beats for Tribe, or if I still thought Ali was. So seeing that produced by Ali like raised my expectations so high for it. So when I heard Brown Sugar, I was like, yo, this cool. You know what I mean? I fuck with it, but I wasn't a huge fan. What made me a huge fan was when my man Cool DJ Frank called me and was like, yo, come look at the 12-inch. This shit about weed, my nigga. And then that was the rap. Like that all you had to do was tell me was like, whoa, this boy talking about weed. And then you listen back to it and it's like, yo, and they playing this on the radio. You know, it was almost like what Pusha got that line on Pop Molly when he said something like, Obama let me in the White House knowing I was a menace or something like that. Like, yo, Obama let me in knowing I'm a criminal. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this dude got them playing songs about weed on the radio all day. I was like, yo, I messed with this boy. Then, same shout out to my man, Cool DJ Frank. He hit me back. He was like, yo, get over here. I'm like, what's up? He's like, yo, this nigga got a song called Shit Damn Motherfucker. And I said, what? He got a song called what? He was like, yo, listen to this. I'm like, yo, this nigga's man is banging this girl and this nigga kills both of them. I'm like, nigga, come on, I'm all in. Where's the album? Where's the album? You know what I mean? And it was just like, after that, because again, I was explaining to Naomi the other day, I said the thing with D'Angelo for me, and this is just one of the many ways I'll talk about how he changed how I listen to music, was because for me, prior to this, I was all hip hop. You know what I mean? Like, I'd hear R&B from my pop or something my mom's was playing or something like that, but I was all hip hop. And the only time I even played R&B was like for a slow jam joint. You know what I mean? Like for a shorty coming through, I used to have these mixtapes, 90 minutes in Timberland. Y'all get it? 90 minutes in Knock the Boots. Like 90 minutes. Right. So that's the only time I listened to R&B. And it was like D'Angelo like made me start listening to what he was saying, because he reminds me of Allen Iverson. Like, I think Iverson got so much love because it was the first time, at least for me and what I feel like was my generation, we could see somebody who looked like us in the NBA. You know what I mean? Like, I know boys like Zeke was from Chicago and dudes was from the hood, but Zeke didn't look like us. You know what I mean? Whereas Iverson looked like us. Like, this nigga's at a game getting his hair braided by his moms. Like, you don't get no hooder than that. You know what I mean? And it was like for D'Angelo, and I'm going to talk about this piece that this shorty Tanya Pendleton wrote in XXL. She explained him as he's a nigga's nigga. And I think like that's what it was for me, for D'Angelo. Like, love Jodeci, but it just felt like you said now, trying like, this was a hip hop boy singing R&B and not singing no sappy, I'll pay your rent and when soon as you get home from work type R&B. Like, right. This nigga is speaking for us almost. Like, this nigga is talking about weed. This nigga like, oh, word, you banging my girl? Boom, both y'all niggas gotta die. Like, this ain't no Babyface, Brian McKnight R&B. So, we said?
So, yeah, no doubt, it was wild.
Yeah, so it's almost like, yo, this is a hip hop boy. So, you know, that's the first time. Now, let's talk about Brown Sugar, this joint right here, 5 mic classic for me. Yeah. I mean, you know, we kind of already dived into, you know, Brown Sugar, but tell me this. What are y'all top 3 songs off of Brown Sugar? Number one, are we in agreement that this is a 5 mic classic? I think we could just go around the board. Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
We're in agreement with that.
All right. Absolutely. 5 mic classic. Tone, what's your top 3 joints off of this right here?
And I was going back and forth, man, because, I mean, you know, of course, the Brown Sugar title track is one, man. Obviously, Lady for me is one. I think Raphael Sadiq worked on that one, too. With Lady, Oh man, I don't know. I'm not thinking about that third one, man, because the Brown Sugar and the Lady, them the two I played all the time, man. To be honest with you, yeah. Let me think on that third one, man.
All right, no doubt. Neltron, what you got for your top 3 off this joint?
So when Brown Sugar came out, the next single I think they played down here was Cruising.
Yeah, I didn't want to use that. That's Smokey Robinson sample, right?
Yeah,
that's his song. Yeah, the whole song.
It's his whole song.
Like,
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So,
word for word, that's right. Excuse me.
Right, I heard that first, and I'm like, and then his backings on it, the way he harmonizes his background vocals, I'm like, man, this is kind of Marvin-esque. But Brown, I want to say Jones in My Bones, Lady, and Brown Sugar are like my today, because it changes all the time, top 3. But I just was playing all his music the day he, and me and my wife Anna, we made 14 years on the day he passed.
Right, like the same day.
And I'm getting texts and stuff. I'm like, damn, this can't be real. So I just started playing. I played it for my boys. I played Brown Sugar. But yeah, Brown Sugar, Jones in My Bones, and Lady are because Lady, that bass in the video.
Yeah, man. Didn't read
Yeah, man. Him and Raphael is a great match. So, those are my top 3.
Hey, Kill.
Yeah. What's up?
Isn't I think the joint Higher on there? The Higher.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that's my other one then.
Yeah.
Yeah, Higher. I like that joint a lot.
Yeah. I feel you, bro. I mean, we in the same boat. I got Lady because I feel like Raphael and D'Angelo, like we did the show about albums hip hop owes us. That's an album that soul music owed us. Like that Raphael, D'Angelo, same way we kind of got Lucy Pearl. We needed that. We needed more of those B heads, like off of Instant Vintage. We needed more of this, Lady. So Lady to me was just so incredible. Like you said, Neltron, the video was dope. Just, I think they seen us before, maybe at the liquor store, maybe at the health food stand, but they don't know that I'm your man. Like, see, that's the shit I'm talking about. Like, that's my R&B. That's what I could relate to. You know what I mean? Like, that's why I say he was like a nigga's nigga. Like, that's what I would want to say. Like, yo, you ain't used. I'm not used to hearing no boy talk about they seen us at the liquor store. You know what I mean? Like, those wasn't no lyrics coming out of R&B at that time. You know what I mean? So definitely, Lady. All right, man. I love that joint, man. Yeah, like as soon as that joint comes on, it's there. And then tone, like you said, Higher. I remember reading on OK Player about Questlove and the making of Voodoo, and it really had me thinking about the way songs are, like how the track listing comes together. And he was talking about how you want that last song to be like, damn, the album's over. Like you want it to have that moment. You don't. And a lot of these albums I listen to nowadays, I'm like, yo, when is this shit gonna be over? Is this, guys, another song? Like, oh fuck, how many more? Whereas with this, you get the Higher and you like, oh, it's over? Like, wait, you mean we got it like that? And that's the feel that you always want to get. And I think that that's something we're going to talk about for these 3 D'Angelo albums. That I think he did perfectly every time. That the last song on the album, you wanted it. You didn't want the album to be over. It's like you don't want them. You out on a date with a shorty and you don't want the date to be over. It's like, damn, I gotta go to work tomorrow. You know what I mean? I gotta catch this flight, but I don't want this. You don't want it to stop. You know what I mean? I think that's something that D kind of perfected with this joint. So again, no. You got no problem. What you got?
Speaking about Higher, the way he ended it is a church song. It's very churchy. So a lot of cats in R&B in the 90s were ending, or a lot of groups, I'm not going to say just men, but a lot of groups were ending their songs with like kind of a gospel feel back in the day.
But that was their foundation anyway.
Right. Maybe JR and Elise could elaborate on that once they get in. But yeah, man, Higher, it's one of those songs.
Yeah. And I mean, that joint was in, like you said, for people who may not know him, being on the back, looking like he's sitting in front of the brownstone with the butter leather on.
That was me.
Yeah. But that's what I'm talking about. Like, this is what I mean by people were able to see themselves in what D was doing. You know what I mean? And to come Eddie Kane right now, you know what I mean?
What's going on, y'all?
What's good? He's sliding in right now about the sing ain't got nothing but love for you. So you know what I mean. We right on time. So right on time, Jr. So now trying to talk about what you was just talking about with people ending their songs with more of a gospel-delic. That's Raphael Sadiq's word, but more of a gospel feel to it.
So bro knows this. Like in the 90s, a lot of groups and solo acts was ending their albums with a church type of song. And D'Angelo ended it with Higher. I think Brian McKnight ended one of his albums with a church song. More, he had Take Six on there, and they're from the church as well. So, but JR can elaborate more on that with R&B ending their albums with a church type of song.
I think that everybody that they wanted to show every R&B person really came from the church. You know what I mean? So they wanted to just show, listen, I can sing a church song for y'all. I gave y'all all this before, but I want to let y'all know what my foundation is. You know what I mean? And even with the groups back then, if y'all knew, basically everybody that was in a group, male anyway, they remind you of the Commission. So you heard a lot of their harmonies and all that with Boyz II Men and Jodeci and Shy and all of them. You listen to Commission, it sound like them. So to be honest, the groups really didn't have to. And I mean, come on, with a voice like KC, he didn't have to. You knew that was church. So a lot of the solo R&B dudes really was like, yo, I'm in my record with a gospel record. So
yeah. JR, you writing on time. Brown Sugar, what are your top 3 joints off of here?
Oh, shoot, because they're on my top 5 list. So, number 1 is Higher. That is my number 1 song on that album, for real. Reminds me of my grandma. She's the one that got me into gospel anyway. And she was one of them ones that don't you cross it when it comes to that secular music. You know what I mean? But we're
going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that. We going there.
Number 2 is When We Get By.
Mm-hmm.
That song is so jazzy, it's ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like, it's such a jazzy song, and it's so thick. And the last one will be Lady. Like, Lady is just ill, and then you get the remix with freaking AZ. Like,
oh yeah.
Hey, JL, we both, JL, before you came on, Kill and I both had Higher in our top 3.
For real?
Yeah. I mean,
oh, wow.
Again, and you've been in the studio with me when I'm working on albums, and it's really all about, like I said, I got that from Quest, was you want to end the album in a way that you just don't want it to end. Right. You know what I mean? And that's something I think D'Angelo has perfected with his 3 albums, is ending it in a way where you're just like, yo, it's over. Like, yo, it can't be over. So, let's jump into this. So in between Brown Sugar and Voodoo, we got a 5-year absence. You know what I mean? Which is almost like on some Sade type shit, in the 90s. Like, you don't go that long without it. And this is just another piece. JR was, saying how like D'Angelo was one of the people who made me change the way that I listen to music. And a lot of it comes from this XXL magazine. I think it was 97 or 98. I was living in Atlanta. And the shorty Tanya Pendleton, and the dope thing about it, I talk about her all the time. And we actually now follow each other on Twitter, because I was like, yo, that is called Voodoo Child. And I said, that piece changed my life, because D'Angelo talked about the making of Voodoo. And he talked about how he would study the masters, how he would study, James Brown. He would study Marvin Gaye. He would study Prince. He would study Jimi Hendrix. He would study Sly. Yeah. And up to that point, like I said before, I really wasn't a big R&B person. If you ask me at that time, I'm a Prince fan. Was I really a Prince fan? Probably not. I just knew, with Prince, he had so many big songs. You can call yourself a fan, but you don't know the album cuts. Right. And my homegirl Maya used to she would come to my crib in college and be like, yo, you got all these records and all you be doing is looking for things to sample. You don't listen to the album. She was like, nigga, you a quilt maker. And I was like, God damn. Like, I ain't used to a shorty, you know what I mean, coming in my crib. So I'm the musical guru in here. But she knew all those album cuts. You know what I mean? And it was like, damn, I was a little embarrassed. Like, damn, shorty pulled my card like that. And it's so funny because I was in Atlanta. I was broke. I ain't really have no money or whatever. I just graduated college. And when I went back to Baltimore to work for EAA and I started getting a paycheck, JR, I'd be down Lexington Market. Back then when they had the albums, and these weren't bootlegs, they was real albums, but they would just have them for cheap. And I went down and I brought everything Marvin. That's how I got into Here My Dear. I brought everything Stevie, like everything. And that's made me really start, because I was like, damn, well, if D'Angelo be doing this, I need to study that too. And it got me into studying the producers, because every Wednesday I would get off the radio station, I would go home and I'd pop in Main Source album. And I would just study it. I'd be like, okay, what break beats did Large Professor use on that song? Or, okay, how did he chop that? Or how did he echo these horns? Or better yet, what was out at the same time that Large was making Breaking Atoms? Let me see who he was in competition with. So it even got me to start looking at music on a higher level. Like I said, one of the biggest things I took away from it was D'Angelo's a nigga's nigga. You know what I mean? And it's just like, that's the best way to explain them. And because you had this 5-year layoff, we got a lot of D knockoffs. You know what I mean? Now, I don't want to say that in a disrespectful way, because 3 of these knockoffs, to me, all have their debut album. Well, not debut for Chico, but these albums were incredible albums. Chico DeBarge. When I heard Ig and Me, I was like, yo, we got the whole D'Angelo feel to it. Yeah. Like the second I heard The Roads, it was like, oh, I'm on this. Like, this is it. And to me, that joint, Chico's joint, is a 5-mic classic for me. I love that.
Long time no see.
Yeah.
Long time no see. That's an incredible
and I love his
album.
version of Trouble Man too.
Yeah. But it's very D heavy. You could tell the labels was like, we need a D'Angelo. Let's go Chico. And if you look at Chico's last album, just go Google what his haircut was on the last album, and then go look at this joint. You can see the Chico change. You know what I mean? The album that y'all give me more hell for than anything on this earth, Myron album, We Can Get Down. The first time I heard that, same thing, that Rose. It was just like, We Can Get Down. That had, and again, incredible album. Y'all killed me for it, for the cover, but incredible album. And even going into 2000, the first time I heard Music, I was like, this is very D'Angelo-ish, JD-ish type vibe right here.
Hey, Kill, now he did in that 5-year grace period, I guess. He did the jazz joint, right? The Live at the Jazz Cafe or something?
Yeah, Live at the Jazz Cafe, yes.
London.
Okay,
Yeah. We was getting to this because while I was living in Atlanta, it was this record store down there called Red Beans and Rice. There you go with the vinyl. We and he had, it was a bootleg of this, and it was in like a red cover. And I mean, it just had, this joint got Me and Those Dreaming Eyes. It got Can't Hide Love. Yeah. This one got Cruising, Shit Damn, Lady and Brown Sugar. But the other one that I had, this bootleg, it also had him doing Ohio Players, Sweet Sticky Thing. It had him doing Al Green. So, there was so much stuff that was kind of like out there and everything like that. And then we get to me being on OK Player every single day, just waiting to hear any type of update on Voodoo. Because again, this joint, the XXL piece came out like 97. We're still 3 years away from getting Voodoo. So reading about recording it, I'm like, yo, where is it? And then slowly but surely Quest would start dropping little nuggets on OK Player, like, oh, you got to hear this, you got to hear that and everything. Then Voodoo comes out. So Voodoo, and it's so funny because I remember at the time I'm still hosting EAA, Strictly Hip Hop, and some of my peoples came through from Brooklyn. They was like, nah, we ain't feeling this joint. I'm like, you ain't fucking with it? They was like, nah, man, this ain't, I wanted the smooth D. Like now we got this a different person. To me, this was the first time really understanding that D was an artist. Like this dude was not the put me in the box and the label, give me another Rhodes again. It's like every album he transformed into a different artist. So I totally understood people not messing with Voodoo at first, because it's totally the flip of what Brown Sugar was doing. You know what I mean? And D talks about, and here's the thing that we're going to talk about throughout the show, they're not just the doc, but how I see Dilla and D'Angelo kind of walking similar paths through music. And the reason why I say that is because when D got signed, I want to say him and his cousins had a group. And when they got the demo, they kind of was like, yeah, but who did the beats? And who's singing? Who's that? Right. And it was similar with Dilla when Tip got the Slum Village joint and they're listening to it. They're like, yeah, the Slum is dope, but who's doing these beats? You know what I mean? And they kind of got pulled away from that. And that's just the beginning. And we'll talk about more as I see them walk in similar paths. But Voodoo drops. JR, what's your first? What's your first? We see Left and Right drops first. And it really didn't, it didn't make a lot of noise. You know what I mean? And I think they was like, oh shit. Like, what we gonna do? Because the video was kind of funkadelic. You had Redman and Method Man in it. It didn't make any noise.
Yes.
Until Untitled.
Yep.
And it wasn't even Untitled. It was the video. Women just loved the video. That's what it was. I don't know if women can even sing a word about the song. I bet you they can tell you every time he rotated. But the song is a beast. So JR, you hit Voodoo finally drops. What is your take, or your first listen to Voodoo? What is your takeaway?
I was actually like a lot of people, and we did this episode with Zoe and we talked about it. And at first I was like, my first listen, I was like, this is not Brown Sugar. So I was like, okay, this is completely different. This is more, now we're getting more into his artistry. Then I listened to it again and I said, I got it. I was like, I got this. I was like, I love it. Now, even though I would still say Brown Sugar is still my favorite, for real, but this was more of his influences, for real, because if you listen to Brown Sugar, I say that gives you more of Curtis, Marvin, that kind of vibe, a little bit of Prince there. But when you get into Voodoo, you getting Slide, Jimi Hendrix, you getting all of that. Earth, Wind, and Fire, you getting all of this. You know what I'm saying? And he said, he was like, yo, like, when he said the Brown Sugar is just, it sounds too perfect. He felt like it's perfect for him. And even though I'm like, really? Okay.
But you know, his biggest beef was he did so many of those songs in his house in Virginia. So he hated the fact that it got so clean going to the studio. You know what I mean? Which goes back to like, he wanted that dirt. You know what I mean? Like, we was talking about that. Somebody said something to me like, oh yeah, we need a remastered version. I was like, nah, nigga, I don't like those remastered versions. I like the dirt. I like the jungle, straight out the jungle, sounding like it was recorded in 1987. That's one of the reasons I love it. I don't need that shined up and polished up and nothing like that. Leave it the way it was. So that was the other thing. And then two, the big thing is that on, Brown Sugar, D is basically doing it by himself. You moving into Voodoo, you know what I mean? Now Questlove is the co-pilot. Now you're getting Roy Hargrove. Now you're bringing more people to the table about how it was recorded too, which was an incredible story of it just being like just hit, play, and record and just jam. And then we just see what we leave with or whatever like that. So Voodoo for you, what was your first takeaway from Voodoo?
Man, I absolutely loved it the first time I heard it because it wasn't Brown Sugar. You know what I'm saying? I always been one of those people like, I don't want to hear the same album over and over again. You know what I'm saying? That's just me. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's in any genre of music. Don't make the same damn album. So when I heard Voodoo, I was like, oh, he on that next level now. And because for me, just because of D'Angelo's background and his talent, I think Brown Sugar was easy for him to make. Put some soul shit together. I already can sing. Bam, there you go. Okay, Voodoo now, I'm using my imagination. I'm getting influenced by the real Wild Childs or Sly Family Stone or Prince and all these different people like that. So Voodoo is just it's like boom bap, gumbo, funk, like all kind of shit all mixed together. You know what I'm saying? So when I heard the whole thing, I was like, yo, I thought it was incredible. And obviously it won like the Grammy for the best album of the year, like the year later, you know what I'm saying? So I think, and it was professionally rated like 5 stars in every professional entity, you know what I'm saying? So, and well deserved. And same Brown Sugar was critical acclaim as well, but Voodoo was another notch in terms of like the metrics or whatever. And it was a landmark album, man.
Right. I think the thing with me and Voodoo, it's almost like, what'd you say?
It ended perfect too. I think the song
with Africa.
Africa.
Oh, yes. Oh.
Yeah. So I mean, I think too it's almost like, I remember years ago people would be like Twitter, I don't know, so many people. And I'm like, yo, you just gotta find your tribe. When you find your tribe of people that you rock with, Twitter don't look so intimidating or whatever. And I think that's what D did during this Voodoo album was he kind of found his tribe, finding Quest. You know what I mean? I heard these two would like nerd out on watching old Soul Train tapes and watching old James Brown concerts and, you know, wanting to emulate that on the Voodoo tour and like really being able to just geek out on music. And I mean, you in here with Pino Palladino and Roy Hargrove and Charlie Hunter, and you're in here with these big time players and everything like that. I think that just opened the door. And I mean, I think for me, Voodoo it's definitely a top 5 album that I played the most, because I don't think I've ever anticipated an album more than I did for Voodoo. Because I'm talking about from the second I read that XXL magazine in '97, everything was about finding, can I just find a snippet of Voodoo? Can I find so this is probably the album. I know people talk about, well, you know, Snoop's album and we was waiting for Snoop and we waiting for 50. Voodoo is probably the most anticipated album of my entire 51 years of walking the planet Earth, waiting to come out. So I probably played that album. Probably it's right up there with Criminal Minded. It definitely is a top 5 album that I have played the most over and over and over again. Neltron, what about you when you heard Voodoo?
I lost my fucking mind. So I mean, Brown Sugar comes out and I'm waiting. I'm not even anticipating. The internet's not out yet. And I'm like, where's D? And it comes out the beginning of 2000. And me and my cousin, shout out to my cousin B, will be in a dungeon in his garage. And we press play. And Player comes on. You hear all these weird sounds and like, what is this African? You're looking at the cover. I'm reading the liner notes. I'm reading the Paul, what's his name? Saul Williams writes this long paragraphs about D and ancestors and music. And I've been a Sly fan since I was 13. I'm a huge Prince fan. So I hear Player and I'm like, let's go. And then, you know, we listened to the album. We sat with that album for about the whole damn year, man. We at least 5 to 6 months. We just would constantly go in there, smoke out, drink. And Voodoo was sonically pleasing. It had that warm feel. It was dark. It was analog. You could tell it wasn't no digital anything. His vocals, the features, Red and Meth. And prior to Red and Meth, I think I just watched a video the other day, Breakups and Makeups, and D's in a video with Meth and Red. And I'm like, oh shit, this is okay. You know, so I was blown away, man. That album is if I had to go to an island with 3 albums, that would be in my collection. So Voodoo just blew my mind, man. It still blows my mind to this day, man. So
yeah, and it's funny because Tip was supposed to be on Left and Right, but
he's in the background.
Yeah, he was supposed to be on Left and Right, but they were saying they never really was feeling his verses or whatever like that. So Meth and Red ended up getting on that joint like that. You know what I mean? And so many, like I said, you talk about an OK Player nerd, like I was on there every day. Like in Quest, I think before it even came out, Quest gave his own review of the album. So he kind of gave you like with Chicken Grease, that was a Common song because they were all working on, was it Things Fall Apart, Mama's Gun,
like Water for Chocolate,
like for Chocolate, and Voodoo all at the same time. So Chicken Grease was originally a Common joint, you know what I mean? And D kind of went over like, yo, B, we got to trade. I need that joint, you know what I mean? So many like little stories like that, or how Lauren was supposed to be on Feels Like Making Love. That was supposed to be a duet again from Nothing Even Matters, but you know nobody's ever said why. What you said?
Oh, because ain't D'Angelo on Like Water for Chocolate? Is it Ghetto Heaven or something?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. He's on that.
Circus.
What happened?
Nah, that's on Like Water for Chocolate.
Oh, it is on Like Water for Chocolate. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
But not on streaming though, y'all.
It's not on
streaming. If you
streaming.
go on streaming, it's Macy Gray.
I heard it's that Whack Question joint, that remix he did with Common with the sweater on. Yeah. And again, very dope 12-inch right here. This is nice. the Voodoo Essentials right here. You know what I mean? And again, it's just Chicken Grease, Feels Like Making Love, and Spanish joint in the instrumentals. But another one of the D vinyls. I tried to bring some stuff up for me from Maryland. I didn't bring everything up. I brought a couple of pieces up. So again, to me, 5 mic classic. We good on that across the board with Voodoo. You know what I mean?
Oh, it is. Yeah.
Right. For me personally, it's probably a top 5 soul album ever for me. And I know JR that goes back a long time, because this is what we were just talking about as far as remember Tony, before we started, and we were talking about how people will be like, based off of your age, based off of my age, it may not be a top 5 soul album ever, because JR may be like, nigga, Otis Red's second album and Curtis Mayfield, you know what I mean? But I mean, for me, you know what I mean, this is a top 5 like soul album for me. You know what I mean? Something that'll just be getting played for, eternity. Now, here's the wild part. So Voodoo is 2000. Black Messiah don't come out till 2014. That's 14 years. So if you thought the 5 years between Brown Sugar and Voodoo was bad, nigga, we got 14 years. That means a child was born with no state of mind, and this kid is going to high school by the time you hear D'Angelo again. This person was born, and now they going to 9th grade by the time D'Angelo drops another album. How much has changed? I remember, I want to say it was like a Friday, because I want to say this was still when music was being released on Tuesdays, because it wasn't released on a Friday. And my man hit me. What you said?
This joint was releasing like a surprise.
Yeah, it was like a surprise. I remember people were like, yo, I'm hearing D'Angelo's gonna leak. And it wasn't until my man Jace sent me a screenshot of the album cover. Because I was like, man, I believe it when I see it, dog. I done been down the street too many times. I am not falling for the banana in the tailpipe no more with D'Angelo. But when he sent me and it was like a whole box full of these, I was like, oh shit, it's really, something could really be coming out. And bro, when I put this on, man, I'm talking about, again, a whole nother feeling, because here's the thing, this ain't Voodoo. This is nothing like Voodoo. When it comes on with Ain't That Easy, dog, I may have played that 5-6 times in a row, man. You know what I mean? Because I love that joint. And the other thing, during this time, there were little leaks, because Really Love leaked. And what I heard was Quest and D'Angelo kind of had a beef, because Quest had leaked Really Love, I want to say on like Tim Westwood's show or somebody on the UK show. He even had his voice in the tag saying, you didn't get this from me. Like the way you would hear Clue in a Clue tape, you kept hearing. I can't even hear Really Love without hearing Questlove's voice, because I played it that much, because it was just like, wow, finally some new, there you go. You know what I mean?
This
finally
right
got
here.
some new stuff. Yeah.
So, this, my boy Mix Messiah, shout out to Mix Messiah, he put me on there.
Shout out,
and I
Mix.
listened to during COVID, and I look on the back, and Really Love's on there, and what you're saying is facts. Questlove was like, oh, it's a Questlove exclusive. You didn't hear that from me. I'm like, you son of a bitch. I would beef with your ass too. You leaking my shit, fam.
Yeah.
Right.
But
What you gonna say, JR?
He was on tour with Mary at the time. They did the Liberation tour. This was in 2012. So a lot of these songs I did already heard. Like Really Love, he performed at the show. He performed Sugar Daddy at the show. And he did Ain't That Easy. So when I heard Ain't That Easy, I was like, whoa, this sounds familiar. Wait a minute. And then it was like that. But I'm like I know D'Angelo was tight. They didn't even speak for a minute.
Yeah.
He was like, why would you do that? Like, and then to say and how he did the tag, like he was like, yo, this Questlove, you ain't hear it from me. Really? Like, if you gonna leak it, don't say it's you. Like
you know what? This is the dumbest shit I ever did, man.
That's Questlove, though.
Well, yeah,
This the dumbest shit I ever did, dog. I'm in 5th grade. Make sure my mom's upstairs. I'm 51 and still shook, but so I'm cheating in science class, right? Why my dumb ass write my name on a cheat sheet?
Oh my God, bro.
Yeah, that's bad.
Young and dumb.
I wrote my name on the cheat sheet, nigga. You know what I mean? And my man threw it to me, and the teacher just looked up, and I'm just sitting here like a receiver, like, boop. I can't even lie and say they ain't mine, nigga. Your dumbass got your name wrote on it, my nigga. Like, what's wrong with you? You know what I mean? Like, at least I can be like, yo, it ain't mine. Well, nigga, say Rahman Kilpatrick on it, my nigga. Like, but all that to say is like, why would you leak something if, you know what I mean, you gonna put your name on it like that? Which I thought it was in jest. I thought maybe D had said you could leak it. You know what I mean? Because it's just like, why would you put, if Tone said, yo, Kill, this the new such and such, the ninth gave me, don't let nobody hear it. Why would I then just turn around and be like, yo, it's Apartment 5B exclusive, Kill, you ain't heard this from Kill? Like, why would you do that? So, I mean, I can't call that, but I mean, Black Messiah, I mean, man, you see, I was getting anything, like the vinyl, the CD, the tape, anything I could buy with this, I was copping everything like this. And again, I mean, for people watching, those 14 years in between, a lot happened for D. You know what I mean? There was the car accident. It was rehab multiple times. There were arrests multiple times. So it was a lot going on. We're going to get into that a little bit later when we talk about the doc and what did we walk away from the Devil's Pie documentary. But top 3 songs on this joint. What you got for me, Neltron?
Top 3 off of Black Messiah. I got 1,000 Deaths, and I chose that because of the way it starts, and then you hear that bass come in, bang. That's Larry Graham. That's Sly.
Listen,
you know
listen.
The first song I fell in love was Till It's Done, the Tutu song. Because it was Jay Dilla. It was like, this is for you, Dilla. Because if you listen to it, they behind the beat, which is what Raphael talks about. Dilla all day, and just, you know, I'm just like, wow. Pinot Quest. And my third one is Back to the Future, because it's a shout out to all the fans that was like, yo, why he don't have the 6-pack? We seen him get arrested. He's chunky now. Yep. And he addresses going back to Virginia. Niggas hating on him. I'm back at home. This is where I grew up, and people don't expect me to be this dude. I'm still D'Angelo, but back using Back to the Future, which is one of my favorite movies. And those are my 3, man.
Yeah, it's funny you said 1,000 Deaths, man. I thought it was only me. I love that joint. Yeah, I mean, when I had to pull it up because when I reviewed the album, I explained 1,000 Deaths as Marvin Gaye and Sly Stone meet in a North Philly alleyway and beat the shit out of each other, and then the bomb squad come in and jump in. I was like, come on, man. That's the best way for me to describe 1,000 Deaths. Was that? Yeah, like it literally is like you see Omar and Brother Muzone meet in the alley, like it's Marvin Gaye and the Sly, and they beating the shit out of each other, and then the bomb squad just jump in like, yo, I want in too, my nigga. Like, that's just 1,000 Deaths. Ain't That Easy, man. I love Ain't That Easy. Like, that's one of those songs I can just listen to on repeat. Like I said, the first time I heard that album, I couldn't even get through it because I loved it so much. And then just really love. Because I again, when I'm telling you I'm like the biggest D'Angelo fan, I probably listened to that Questlove, You Ain't Heard It From Me millions of times. So to be able to finally hear it complete and long and right was just amazing to me. So that was it for me. Tone, what are your top 3 joints off of Black Messiah?
Yeah, so Another Life, man. Another Life. Yeah, ironically enough, man, over the years, man, Another Life became my favorite D'Angelo song. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's the perfect way. Once again, he 3 for 3 ending albums with the perfect track. You know what I'm saying? And when Another Life, when it's starting to go off, it kind of put me in the zone, man. When I listen to it today, it was a little emotional because the brother, you know, you think about the song and just everything about it, and him not being here anymore. For me, that's just one of those songs that always made me think about him and everything that he was about, man. It was, if that's the last song on an album for him, how perfect could it be, man? You know what I'm saying? So Another Life, my favorite D'Angelo song, my favorite song on the album. The Charade. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I like that joint a whole lot, man. You know what I'm saying? That's probably one of my top 10 D'Angelo songs. You know what I'm saying? And then that Really Love, man. I like it, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I vibe to it, I rock to it, man. So those will be my three, man. But again, just real quick, you saw he did something that only a few people do. You got 3 albums, and they are totally different albums. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not some long continuation of, you got like, 48 songs. They all could be on a double CD. You know what I'm saying? No, these are 3 beautiful albums that focus the sound, the music, everything is totally different, man. And Black Messiah was an amazing piece of work, man.
Yeah. I mean, incredible album. So here's the thing with me. It's a 5 mic classic for me. I know people who don't like the album at all. And I totally understand it because, again, you're changing every time. Most people, I think, it's human nature. We like the same thing. You know what I mean? I go to Chick-fil-A. Why? Because I know Chick-fil-A tastes the same every time. You know what I mean? It ain't like back in the days you go to McDonald's, they're going to be grease soaked. You don't know what you're going to get. I think most people like the same thing. It takes a certain kind of air to be able to be like, you know what? I don't mind D doing this. And because I think D does it all well. Keep in mind, I'm not saying, because I've said that a lot, because people like, wait, I can hear somebody now. Wait a second, Kill, you ain't like Commons Electric Circus, because that shit was whack to me. That's why. You know what I mean?
Different don't always mean dope.
Right. Different don't always mean dope. And that's okay. I know people who love Electric Circus, and that's what I love about music. It speaks, Neltron, I thought you did. It speaks to us all different. You know what I mean? And to me, that's the beautiful thing about music, is that it may speak to you and it doesn't speak to me. So I love the fact that D brings something different to the table every time, because this one is very guitar heavy, because he wanted to play the guitar more. You know what I mean? And it's like, he can do that well. He's like a Prince type boy who can be like, yo, I'm on the roads on this one. I'm on some function on this one. And now I'm on to the guitar on this one. And it all sounds good. Like I said, if I decide to stop sampling tomorrow and play my mom's piano, my shit is going to sound whack. It is, because I have no idea what I'm doing. You know what I mean? And people, I think artists look at fans like, well, you should respect me and my growth. But nigga, you got to grow. Like, if you can't play, there is no growth. You just decide to stop doing something and start doing something else. That don't mean that you're good at it. You know what I mean? Those are 2 totally different things. So I think that's the thing. So I give this 5 mics. Tone, how many mics do you give Black Messiah?
I didn't get to give my 3.
No,
My bad, JR. I'm sorry, JR. My bad. I'm all over the place tonight, so I told y'all in the beginning.
D'Angelo is your guy, so I'm not
right. So I'm all over the place. No, but what, dog? I forgot my Voodoo. I forgot my top 3 Voodoo. I gotta go back. I gotta go back and do my. I didn't do my 3, so I got to go back. I'm all over the place tonight, bro. I'm all over the place.
Fine,
so what are your top 3 Black Messiahs?
Mine is Another Life. Like that song, to me, when I first heard it, it was emotional when I heard it. Yeah. And now when he passed, that was actually the first song I went to.
Me too.
You know what I mean? And it got you mad emotional, because it's like, damn. And this is the last album we got from him, and that's the last song.
Yep.
And he's into this another life now. You know what I mean? So that song has always hit me. I really love, because it's just so voodoo-ish. For real. It's so voodoo. It's so thick. Like, you gotta get a knife to cut through it. Like, that's how thick it is. Like, it's just, shout out to Elise for that one. But it's just so thick, and I love that. And the one I'm with is 1,000 Deaths. 1,000 Deaths, for me, I love that song, what it stands for. Like, D'Angelo was always for the people, for us. And he did a record like that, and then to come after that would be the Charade. So that's kind of like a more of a Black Power kind of joint too. So it was like this. It was just like, but those 3 right there for me, for the Black Messiah, those are the 3 right there.
All right. So Tone, how many mics you give Black Messiah?
Man, 5 mics.
Okay.
Man,
all right.
Mics.
3
JR, what about you?
5.
Yeah. All right.
No under 5, any of these. Like, for me.
Right. And what about you, Neltron?
5 all day, man. 5 all day.
5 mics all day. So and like I said, and here's the thing. Like I said, I totally understand how somebody could say. To me, it's very similar to Outkast. You know, to me, and this is where we talk about the greats. I know a lot of my niggas on the corner in Philly, street niggas, after AT Aliens, they was like, nah, I'm good with Cass, man. Kill your man out here with wigs, green wigs on, with football pads. Like, I'm good with your man, my nigga. And they stopped listening after AT Aliens. And I'm like, yo, you done missed Aquemini, Stank on. Like, Aquemini to me is one of the greatest albums of all time. That's the top 20 hip hop album ever, in my opinion. You know what I mean? And you missed out on it because of, you know, again, like Dre said, you know, what's wrong with you? You know, y'all gonna break up when you're gonna wake up or whatever like that. But I feel like it's the same with D, that there's a lot of people who never heard Black Messiah. Yeah. You know what I mean? They listened once and it was like, nah, that ain't Untitled. Because I think you gotta realize a lot of people who were fans, quote unquote, fans of D'Angelo liked Untitled. You know what I mean? And that was it. You know what I mean? They didn't know anything else, you know? And me and Nate was kind of talking about this because she loves Steve Lacy from the internet, who used to be in the internet. And when I took her probably 3 or 4 years ago to his show, one of his songs was really big on TikTok. And that's really all the crowd wanted to hear, was that one song. And you could see the frustration I had heard about tours where it's kind of just like, y'all don't know these songs. Like, all these people in this room don't know my songs. Y'all just know this one TikTok song. Mm-hmm. And after a while, that starts to weigh on an artist. You know what I mean? So it's kind of just like how does that like fit into play like that? So I think that's a problem too, like with what D'Angelo was having, and we'll get into it in the doc, where it's just like during Voodoo, it's kind of just like, I almost want to say like some of his love and passion for music kind of went away during that tour.
Yeah, agreed.
Because women just wanted him to take his shirt off. And it's like, nah, wait a second. We done put together this kick-ass show for an hour and a half, and we 5 minutes on stage, and it's like, take it off. It's like, I'm gonna take it off, but just wait. Like, and I think that really made him lose some of his passion. But let's go back. Did I miss anybody else on Voodoo? Like your top 3 Voodoo songs? Okay. Yes. God damn, I missed everybody. Okay, Neltron, what were your top 3 Voodoo songs?
My top 3 today is Player. Like I said, the way it starts, fire, and his basketball references, and I didn't know it was on Space Jam or whatever. And man, the next one is The Root. And when I heard that, man, like, I listened to it in 2000, but as time went on after Katrina, it's 2007. I'm in another dungeon, chilling, getting smoked out, and I'm listening to this dude. It's like, I left my mojo in my favorite suit, and the chorus, man, and at the end when he's pleading and begging, like he's hurting, you can feel it. So The Root's my second one, and my last one is Africa, man. And I mean, I heard it when it first came out, but after I had my first son, and his second verse dedicated to his son, I was just like, wow, I understand now, like what it means to have a child. You know what I mean? So those are my 3: Player, The Root, and Africa. So,
all right, no doubt. For me, I got Send It On. Man, as soon as I heard that horn riff, the Kool and the Gang sample, it was just like, yo.
The Tranquility.
Yeah. Send It On. Like, and I think that was probably one of the songs that kind of leaked before it came out. And it was just like, yo, this is dope as hell. And I love the live version that they do, you know, when they're starting off with the horns before it comes into the song. Like, that's just, you know, perfection right there. Next up, I got Untitled. I know that's the easy one. I try not to name the singles, but Untitled may literally be one of my favorite songs ever. Like, that's just
cut off.
Right. Hey, and it's funny because I was watching, me and Nate was watching the doc, and she was like, what's that? I was like, oh, that's the tape. We used to have to record on 2-inch tape before we had Pro Tools. And I'm like, yo, you know how Untitled just cuts off like that? They ran out of tape. That's why it cuts off like that, because the tape just ran out. You know what I mean? So just Untitled. I just think, again, Raphael Sadiq and D'Angelo, like, there's no misses with them. And I need to know. I would only assume that D'Angelo is such a recluse that he dips away from working on music, because Sadiq seems like he's always working on music. You know what I mean? So I can't see these two not linking up like that, you know what I mean, for something. So probably that And then this is one of the times I gotta play Porsche and be a Jodeci nigga. I can't give you 3. I can give you 4. I got one more again. Because one more again is just like, just come on, man. That's just something. And then Spanish joint. You know what I mean? And I don't know, for people out there watching, go YouTube Charlie Hunter, because this nigga was playing bass and guitar at the same fucking time.
What?
Y'all did not hear that wrong. He was playing bass and guitar at the same time on Spanish joint.
Like shit afterwards.
So go YouTube Charlie Hunter
on YouTube right now. Like that came out this year. Yep. And he's with this other Spanish dude, a guitar player, and he's showing it like 20 years later. Like, man.
So go YouTube that, but Spanish joint. JR, what are your top 3 joints off of Voodoo?
Okay, number 1 is my favorite D'Angelo song, period, and that's Send It On. That is my favorite D'Angelo record. It's nothing topping it for me. And then the video version, because the video version, I feel like even though, shout out RIP to Angie Stone, because she helped write this too. And they did this right after they had their son. And it seemed like, the album version, it's like, it's cool, whatever, I'm getting the, Cool in the Gangsta. But I feel like when he did it live, I'm getting Al Green, Marvin, Prince, all of that in one when he's doing it. And then you hear Anthony Hamilton on background too. Like, it just makes it more thick to me. And this album is already thick as hell. Like, it's a heavy ass album. And for them to do that live, and then, many times that he went with that falsetto on that, like, I posted that on my story, like when he does that, and it's very Marvin-ish. It's like, that's why I be like, when Alik said on that episode, and she was like, you can't talk about D'Angelo or Erica and all them, is because they are the type that was making the 70s music when nobody else was. But they were making it current for us. Because it could be 70s flavor and the joint would still feel like the 70s. But when you listen to Voodoo, it does not feel like the 70s. But you feel the influence in there. Brown Sugar, that doesn't feel like 70s either. But again, you can see his 70s inspirations in it. So with Send It On, I was just like, oh, God. But my next one will be The Root. The Root, that record there, oh my God. I remember when me and my mom first was listening to Voodoo, and she act like she done forgot. And I'd be like, I wanted to talk about it with her. She was like, we did? Yes, we did. Like, how the hell I'ma buy it? I ain't had no money yet. I had no job. So how the heck I'ma buy it?
Hold on. How old were you when Voodoo came out in 2000?
I was 14.
You was 14. Okay.
I was 14. I was about to get that work study so I could work because my mom was done with paying for shit. So when we got this, it was just like, we got to the root. We was like, why is this so funky? Like, why is it stinks. Like, it's just like, damn, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then Chicken Grease. Chicken Grease for me, that's a funky ass record. Like, it's for real chicken grease. Thick chicken grease for real. That Crisco shit, like for real. Like, that's what you feel on that record. You dancing, you grooving, and all that. But like you said, Kill, and I'm sorry, I got to get one more. Feel Like Making Love. I'm sorry. I love his version of it because I don't like Erica and his Precious Love as much as I love Marvin and Tammy. I'm not a big fan of it. So I was like, okay, here he go. He about to, because he did his thing on Cruising. I don't even act like this. Sorry, Smokey. But it just don't. But with this, I was just like, the way Dilla did that. Is he credited on that kill or is he not?
He's not credited. Basically, I think what happened with a lot of Voodoo was everybody, for the most part, followed Dilla's lead. You know what I mean? So playing behind everything Dilla was doing, Dilla was the Soul Quarians. He's not credited, but it's almost he should be because like they're emulating everything that he does.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So it's kind of like you're writing a script that sounds just like Quentin Tarantino. You know what I mean? He's not credited, but then he's part of the crew, so he should be credited. Okay. Again, I'm not putting it out there, but I heard that there was some problems between Quest and D because, again, if you read Voodoo, it says produced by D'Angelo.
It does.
You know what I'm saying? Whereas Quest may have been like, look, a lot of these was just jam sessions. You know what I mean? And I was right here with you the whole time. I was the co-pilot, but there is no nothing on Voodoo. Is just produced by D'Angelo. Yeah. You know what I mean? So this is where credits get iffy. I've been in situations like that where, friendships kind of get a little bit iffy because like, well, nigga, I did the whole beat, my nigga. Like, yeah, you did add something to it, but my nigga, it was mine. You know what I mean? So that may have started like some concerns with that too. And then, I mean, Quest was touring with D. So that kind of put everything the Roots was doing on hold too. So I'm sure that formed a strain. Because again, D and Quest was like best friends. It's like I done found my musical partner right now. And it's like, but nigga, we still got a group over here called The Roots. Like, you going on tour with this nigga, fuck that freezes us. You the drummer. Like, you the musical director. So it was a lot of things pulling on that. So let's talk about this. Top 5 fave D'Angelo songs. Tone, what are your top 5 favorite D'Angelo songs? I know it's Pulling Teeth. I know it's Gun to Head. So many we can name. But today, October 16th, what are your top 5 D'Angelo songs?
Yeah, I think I kind of named some throughout the episode so far. So I'm going to go with Another Life. I'm going to go with Africa. I'm going to go with Send It On. I'm going to go with Lady. And man, and I could go with one of the album cuts like Charade and all that stuff like that, man. But I got to go with Untitled, man, because I love Prince. And that just give me the Prince. But I love that fucking song, man. Like,
man.
That's one of the best songs I ever heard, man. Everything about it, man.
Prince was like, those are my two sons right there, D'Angelo and Raphael, when he heard it. Like, those are my sons. Like,
it's perfect, man.
Yeah.
Good mind, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Nah, I'm with you, and I usually try to stay away from singles too. But I want to say, like, this to me is one of the special things about D'Angelo, because a lot of times, and somebody may be watching, like, why you keep saying you stay away from singles? Because those are the easy ones to name. Like, they're easy, but when it comes to the greats, the singles are great. Like, am I not going to pick When Doves Cry because it's a single? It's a great fucking song. Am I not going to pick Adore because it's a single? No, it's a great fucking song. Like, you know what I'm saying? Whereas with Biggie, no, I'm not going to pick More Money, More Problems, and it was a single. Like, that's different. Like, I'm not going to pick that. I'm not going to pick Oh You Back by Nas because it was a single. But, and I'm not saying that they're not great, but this is the difference between hip hop and R&B too. So I got Untitled, I got Lady, I got Really Love, I got One More Again, and Send It On. You know what I mean? Those are my top 5 right there. Neltron, what are your top 5 D'Angelo Jones?
Lady, this is hard, kid. Got The Root, One More Again. That's 3. Charade. And oh my God, Africa, man. Oh, it's hard, bro. It's hard.
Nah, I feel you. JR, what you got, bro?
Mine is Send It On, Higher, When We Get By, Lady, and Another Life.
I ain't named Higher. That's one of mine, man. I gotta move somebody out.
I feel you, bro. I mean, it's hard. And here's the thing that I want people, because if people are watching Apartment 5B, I've always wanted this to be a teaching podcast. Because somebody out there who's not our age is probably wondering, damn, why everybody's so fucked up about this boy? He only had 3 albums out. You know what I mean? Because this generation, I mean, the younger generation, they're used to getting 3 albums a year from their favorite artists. Yeah. So, if you keep that mindset in mind, I could see a young boy being like, nigga had 3 albums out. My favorite rapper had 5 albums out this year. Like, what y'all crying over this nigga for type thing? So this is, to me, that goes to show how incredible the albums were, that the 4 of us are having such a hard time picking 5 songs off of 3 albums. When you really do the math, that's a testament on how incredible this man's discography is, because it sounds like we picking from 6, 7, 8 albums. Like, no, this is just 3. You know what I mean?
We're picking from like 37 songs.
Right.
Something like that.
Not even talk about the
Right.
Lucy's that he got out there too. So
Right. Right.
you know what I'm saying? So and Kill, I'm going you know, adding on to your point, it's so crazy because D'Angelo, each of these albums, he started a trend with every last one of them. With Brown Sugar, he started something. And you know, there's maybe 2 albums before his that kind of, but he commercialized, you know, this neo soul that we got with Brown Sugar. Then he started that 2000s year with Voodoo, because y'all know 2000s is an amazing year for R&B.
Amazing.
He came out with this album in January of 2000. So it's like after him, then we got all of that, the music, the Erica, the Jill, it was just a beautiful year in 2000, and he started it all. You know what I mean? And then we get to the Black Messiah, which now he started something else because according to Terrence Martin, he said that
We gotta talk about that.
create to Pimp a Butterfly. So again, this guy is all 3 of these albums is so monumental because he started trends with them. You know what I mean? So like we said, it's so hard to pick 5. That's why when you gave me what we was gonna do today, I said thank God Kill got it early because I gotta sit here with it to see what 5 songs go.
Yeah.
I knew my number 1, but it was like shit, and I'm listening. I'm like, damn this, and I'm like, fuck. But yes, I want to say that it's like
The same way, yeah.
Yeah. And I love what you said. It's like, and again, this goes back to the Dilla piece. Madlib talked about when Dilla died, it's like, what are we doing now? You know what I mean? Because he kind of spearheaded us. So to hear Terrence Martin talk about that and to be like, yo, we're in New York to do Pimp a Butterfly, like me, Thundercat, Bilal, Kendrick, none of us really feeling creative. And it's like to hear Black Messiah come out and then to go on a Cobra show and do that Untitled joint, which is one of my top 5 favorite Kendrick joints. You know, I was so pissed when Pimp a Butterfly came out that song wasn't on it. You know what I mean? So I'm glad they put out the Untitled Unmastered joint with that joint, because so again, this is just how great artists inspire other great artists. You know what I mean? It's not always about biting, but it's like sometimes you need that inspiration. I was watching this interview with Havoc and Alchemist, and he was like, Havoc was like, I went out to LA because, you know, Al putting out 40 albums a week. I needed some of that inspiration. I needed that to get ready to make this new Mobb Deep album. You know what I mean? So let's do this. Let's talk about some of the features. We got D on Slum Villages Tell Me off of 5 Mic Fantastic Volume 2 album. You got D on the Jizza Cold World remix. You know what I mean? You got on Common So Far Gone joint. You know what I mean? Yep. You got him on Ghetto Heaven.
Yep.
You got him on Meph's Breakups to Makeups. One of the few Meph songs I liked off that second album, produced by Karan Goodman from the Youngsters. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Karan was good. Go ahead.
Yeah, you got Be Here by Sadiq. Again, they owe us an album. I'm praying they can do something together. You got Nothing Even Matters, Lauryn Hill. You talk about an amazing, you know what I mean, a duet that we weren't getting at the time. Funny story, me and T worked together at the radio station, and before we was even dating, like, you know, we'd be walking across campus coming from lunch, and I'd be like, yo, just sing like fucking Lawrence, you know, Nothing Even Matters. Like, I just love that song. You know what I mean? For people who don't know, my wife can sing, so I would just be like, yo, just sing that shit for me. Like, you know what I mean? So that, you got D on the Hypnotic off the Roots Philadelphia, and on the remix, the Notic off the Men in Black 2 soundtrack. You got him on Believe with Q-Tip, and I'm probably missing a billion other things, but just to show people how we say D was like a hip hop R&B dude, all these things are R&B for the most part. I mean, hip hop, I apologize. All these things are hip hop. These are this Slum Village, is Jizza. You know, you see the Wu-Tang D'Angelo connection, not just with Red and Meth, but now you got him with Jizza too, you know, on doing joints like that. The remixes. People don't talk about the remixes. That Lady remix. This joint right here, the Lady remix.
Classic.
Okay.
The 90s, period.
When they sent me this on vinyl at 889, and it said produced by DJ Premier. Now, here's a funny story. First time I heard Devil's Pie, I didn't like it. Because, similar to what I was saying, why people didn't like Voodoo, when I saw it produced by Premier, I thought it was going to be something smooth, laid back. So I heard Devil's Pie. I was like, yo, this ain't smooth and laid back. Now, of course, I've grown to love Devil's Pie. I love it. You know what I mean? Fun fact, it was originally for Cannabis. He didn't take the beat, so D got it. You know, perfect song. But when he did The Lady, like, this is more of like what I was expecting. And I mean, AZ slaughters it. You know what I mean? The video is crazy. One of the dopest remixes. You got the Cruisin' remix, the Cruisin' Wet remix. You know what I mean? The wet remix right there. This is a joint right here. Not to mention you got the Me and Those Dreamy Eyes of Mine, the Def Squad remix. You know, that E. Sermon did. That's a banger. This right here, same thing. This is the B-side of this, is the Brown Sugar, the Beat Miners. People don't even know the Beat Miners did a remix on Brown Sugar with Cool G Rap on it. You know what I mean? So that's just some of the remixes he got. Yo, let's just talk about some of our favorite memories of D. You know what I mean? Maybe it's, yo, I was with this shorty, or I was hanging, like you said, now trying, we getting smoked out, or we here. One of my favorite memories is, I don't think I have looked for an artist's music the way I looked for D'Angelo's music. So now, Tron, you made a good point. The internet is really starting to get started. Like, OK Play is really starting to take off in 98, 99, these message boards. You know, what was that shit, Napster, where you could start downloading music illegally, things are popping. So I think I spent more hours scrounging the internet and used CD stores and used record stores looking for D'Angelo. I was looking for anything that I can find him on. Similar with Dilla. Dilla's the only other artist that I would scrounge, right? I was always trying to find Fantastic Volume 1. Not Volume 2 that came out, but Volume 1 with the Beach in them and, you know, all those and the original back and forth. And I've spent so many hours. Look, I remember it's 2000, 2001. And this dude had a bootleg of the D'Angelo Voodoo show. And at the time, I'm broke. I couldn't afford to go to the shows. Probably one of my biggest disappointments that I didn't get to see that Voodoo show live. I was like, I'm getting this bootleg. I'm on eBay. I'm bidding for it. It's like almost up to $100. I ain't even give a fuck. You know what I mean? Like, it was like, yo, I gotta get this CD. So just really digging for it like that. You know, and I know the bootleg, forgive me, the Dewey Brothers, no Roger, no Rerun, no Rent, you know, but I ain't even care. I wanted that bootleg of that D'Angelo show. So give me a memory about D'Angelo, man.
Man, what's funny is, man, one of my line brothers in college, man, he used to like to make little like home movies on campus, man. He was a wild dude, you know what I'm saying? So he got some homegirls, and they did like a little fake, like a little 20-minute movie, and it was called Lady. And the little soundtrack was D'Angelo Lady, you know what I'm saying, and all that. It was all based around the Brown Sugar album, you know what I'm saying. So that's my memory. Like, that was wild, man. And he was into D'Angelo, man. And it's crazy, man, because just like everybody else, man, we loved it, man. We played that album all the time, but we actually he had a VHS with a little home video called Lady, based off D'Angelo, man. So that takes me back to some good times back in like 95, 96, man, in school, man, with D'Angelo, bro.
No doubt. Now try, give me a memory, bro.
So like I said earlier, we in the dungeon listening to Voodoo for months, and my cousin's like, yo, I just heard D's coming down here. So I'm like, bet, what's up? So we get the tickets, man. Somehow we split up, or we following each other to the concert. We get to the concert, and they're in the front row. And when I tell y'all, man, one of the greatest concerts I've ever been to. They all come out in these black cloaks like they're the Grim Reaper, and there's me and like 8 girls. And I'm talking to the shorty next to me, and I'm like, where's your man? She's like, oh, he don't like D'Angelo. I'm like, you know, I wasn't trying to dirty mac her or nothing like that, but just that experience of them, Roy, seeing Pino, seeing James Poyser, and I think Mos Def opened up for him. He did. So one of my favorite memories is going to see D'Angelo for the Voodoo tour at the Sanger in New Orleans, man. I was on a high for days, man. So that's one of my memories.
And so, though, what about you, JR?
I got a funny memory. So every time I think about this Brown Sugar album, I love it down. So, you know, everybody, everybody celebrates the anniversary on the 3rd of July, but we all know it really didn't hit like that at first. You know what I mean? And so everybody tried to claim that they did, but they didn't. But I remember us getting it. I think we might have got it maybe 3-4 months afterwards, because it was like we liked Brown Sugar. But once we heard Cruising, and we was like, okay. And I just remember my mom or somebody copping it. And then once I got it, I would have it in my cassette joint, and I'm listening to it, so I'm learning all the words to it. So we get to Shit Damn Motherfucker, right? So I'm playing that, and mind you, I'm 9, right? So I'm already a good cursor, because thanks to Snoop. So I'm already good there, right? So it's a Friday. My family used to always, on Fridays, this is what I love, and that's why I love music so much, because after Fridays, we would everybody would just sit in the living room, and we would just play music for real. And everybody would kind of unwind after the week. You know what I mean? And just the drinks are blowing. My grandfather's loud. My mom's loud. You know, it's just, and then my dad is over there because he's a hip hop head anyway, but he just deals with it. After a while, he's like, yeah, I like this. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. So Shit Damn Motherfucker plays. So normally I gotta say every time well, I was feeling it one night, right? And it gets to the chorus. And my mom let me slip for the first time. She was like, all right, he slipped. So I'm thinking, you know what? All right, whatever. So then I say, and she was waiting for it too. And I get the shit damn up. Flat the shit out of it.
Because she know you knew better.
She knew, right? She was like, I know you, I let you slide the first time. And you know you were wrong because you looked at me, because I was kind of like,
right.
Hear me right quick, and I'm looking at my eye, but you know, you can feel when a black mama's staring at you. You know she's staring at you.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, all right, whatever. So I'm just in it, and I'm thinking she talking and all that, and I'm like, I'm there, and my mother and I didn't even see her creep up because I'm so into the record. And when I said shit, damn, I was like, oh. So every time I listen to that, I laughed. So after I went to another life, and it kind of got me a little emotional when, you know, he passed, I went to Shit Damn Motherfucker, and I laugh about it. Because I'm like, damn, I got hit in the face for the D'Angelo wanting to do, I guess my mother was on the crime scene. Like, she was.
Right. Yo, truth be told, bro, that's not even your fault. Your moms was playing it. Like, yo, play some age appropriate music. Like, yo.
Well, yeah, and I got like that when I got older, and I tried her on that kill. But my mother said, no, you're not going to get that. Because you took the cassette and played it in your Walkman. You didn't have to grab that. You could have grabbed 95. Why you ain't grabbed Faith? Why you ain't grabbed Mary? We were still there. No, you grabbed D'Angelo because you saw the back and saw that it said Shit Damn Motherfucker, so you want to know it. My mother was like, don't try to play me like, oh, put it on me that I was playing it. No, you grabbed it and you thought you was slick, and you thought, because she was like, we played it and I never heard you. Because again, I'm conscious of it, but this time I wasn't, and I just got slapped. So that's a funny moment with D'Angelo.
Yeah, no doubt. Another joint for me is, again, just reading that XXL piece, that Voodoo Child piece. I mean, when I tell y'all just how much of a D'Angelo fan that I am, it was like, yo, I wanna be this kind of producer. I want to be able to make this kind of music. Like, it was like, so reading that, and then finally hearing Voodoo, but then also watching the little Voodoo documentary, the joint where, you know, Chris Rock is in the studio and Eric Clapton is in the studio and Rick Rubin, and you see like them working on the root and stuff like that, and seeing all that. Let's talk about this Devil's Pod documentary. You know what I mean? Again, this was me searching the world for this thing because I kept hearing about it. And I mean, I want to say this doc was supposed to drop in like 2020. You know what I mean? And it just never came out. So again, this was like Voodoo for me. So it's like, I got to find it. And, you know, of course, through the internet, I found it. But I think one of the biggest takeaways of this doc for me was just D'Angelo's struggle from the church to the secular music, which has always been a struggle for so many of our Black artists going back to the 50s, you know, and the struggle of like how he would say his grandmother, or people would always pull him to the side like, yo, I saw an interview with him and he was talking about how even at the age of 5, the church mothers would take him to the side like, yo, don't use God's gift, to make no worldly music. And you're getting told that from the time that you're 5, even when you do break away. I mean, that's your foundation. Those are the seeds that are being planted in you. You know what I mean? On that. And I get it. I put this on Twitter today and I was like, it's so funny. How the church will shit on music, but they don't shit on movies like that. Like, I remember when I first got saved and I was going to church and I was in the men's ministry, they was like, you gonna give up all your hip hop CDs? I was like, nah, why would I do that? Oh, because that's the devil's music, and blah, the devil, and the devil, the devil, the devil. Then after men's ministry, they're like, yo, we gonna go see Bad Boys 2? I'm like, nigga, you do know it's more cursed than Bad Boys 2 than a whole Jay-Z, Cameron, MOP CD put together. Like, what? And it's just always a thing against music. And I know before 800 church mothers come from me, I know Satan was a musician. I know the word. But to me, it's just like, I feel like you could be an actress in a church. Oh yeah, girl, go kiss 8 niggas and show your titties and show your ass. But don't you make no secular music now. Don't you do that. And I just, from watching this movie, it just seemed like that was one of my key takeaways, was these struggles. He was fighting so many demons. You know what I mean? And like I said, in that 14-year span from Voodoo to Black Messiah, it's a lot of demons being fought on a daily basis. You know what I mean? So I just felt sorry for him, because that's a hard struggle to live with. That's a hard struggle to live with, whether it's the liquor, whether it's the drugs, whether it's the sex, or whatever it is, the self-esteem. I remember Quest talking about how there will be times we'd have to, who's talking D out his dressing room tonight because he don't want to perform. He feel like he looks too fat, or he's got to do 200 crunches before the show. And he's not all right, draw straws. Who's going to bring him down and try to get him? Don't know. This last show of the tour. Come on, D. You gotta coach you. You gotta get him through another show. So I just, it's a great documentary, but it also made me really feel sorry for him, because it felt like he was such a troubled soul. Like, very Marvin-ish. Very Marvin-ish. You know what I mean? Tone, what did you take away from the documentary, bro?
First of all, man, it was a dope documentary. You know what I'm saying? What I got from it was, he's just one of those people who God-given talent with the voice and the skills to play instruments and all that. But I think he was a person who wanted to spend more time by himself. You know what I'm saying? But his talent made him sing in church and be a part of that, then becoming a singer, away from the church and becoming this big star and all that. I think he was reluctant with all of it. You know what I'm saying? And I think he was torn with it. Like, I got to give the world this talent, but I kind of rather be in a room by myself. You know what I'm saying? That's why he had certain times I'm performing, didn't really want to go out there. Just like one of the guys said on the documentary, like you said, you didn't know if this is the last night of the tour or not. Like, come on, D. You know what I'm saying? Like, because he'll disappear and you might not see him again. Dudes, like, you might not see him again for 10 years. You know what I'm saying? So, it may be something that was because you're fighting the demons. You might want to be by yourself in a room drinking something, not really want to be this big star. You know what I'm saying? And stuff like that, man. So, I just think it's one of those cases where a person with talent was kind of forced to be in the spotlight, but probably didn't want to be in the spotlight at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? But, but he was gifted, man. So the world got a chance to share it.
Yeah. And again, very Dilla-ish, because that's why one of the reasons Dilla and Slum broke up, because Dilla didn't want to tour. Dilla just wanted to go to strip clubs and make beats. You know what I mean? Like,
that's funny.
Yeah, and again, D being that person, like, okay, I'm feeling the tour today, but we only on day 3 of a 30-city tour. Yeah. Like, nigga, we got 27 more shows to go. Well, what you mean? What you mean you don't feel like doing it tonight? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And who's gonna talk? I mean, and that's what the white boy, the manager, was saying. Like, hey, I dealt with Prince. Like, I know what to deal with and what I'm gonna have to deal with going on tour with D. Now, Tron, what was your takeaway from the doc, man?
He mentioned, I think it was like one of the second to last tour. He was like, man, I was just looking at 30,000, 50,000 people just, and he said a voice was in his head like, you see the power you have? Like you can do so much, and that scared like the ego. And also to your point, when you said what I took away from the doc is I thought about Divided Soul with Marvin Gaye and how Marvin would have the preacher and church people in one room and then have the coke dealer and the women in another room. So, and there's a magazine that D talks about how he used to have dreams about Marvin, and he would call Janet and tell her. And they both suffered being from the Pentecostal. I don't know if Marvin was from Pentecostal, but D was Pentecostal, the speaking in tongues. And when he would tell, his dad would and his mom would be like, yo, don't play this secular music. But his grandmother would be like, baby, just do you and play how you feel. And that's why his 3 albums, we can feel his soul, because he that's what he gave us. So I took a lot from that doc, man. It's just unfortunate that they take it down. Like you sent me the link last time, he was like, yo, Nell, try and watch this in 24 hours or they're gonna take it down. So they still doing it. I don't know why, but that's what I took. Yeah. Man. He was in trouble. So
yeah. And the crazy thing is you see the church. This is not these 2025 churches that seat 20,000 people, and this is a down South Virginia church. Small town church. This is not Know Your City Block and Creflo Dollar coming to give a show. No, this is a real old school church. JR, what did you take away from the doc, bro?
Oh my God, like Neltron said, you took a lot from it, but what I really, really got from it is just the price of fame. What you got to pay for the price of fame, your life, your everything is taken. And like Tone said, D'Angelo was one of them. I want to chill on my own. I don't want all of this. You know what I'm saying? I don't want all of this. But again, he had a talent, and I start to think about his whole career, and I'm like, when he started Brown Sugar and he was doing that on this house, and finally they got him into the studio, they got Angie because he didn't want to finish it. Like, he did not want to finish. And they was like, yo, we got to get you in there with him. That's the only way he's going to. And she was able to kind of give him some stability, because everybody else, he was like, I don't feel like recording today. I don't want to. You know what I'm saying? However I feel, that's just what it is. And Angie was like, they got Brown Sugar done on Christmas Day, 1994. She was like, they was in the studio for Christmas because that was the deadline. Because D'Angelo was like, I ain't feeling it today. I don't want to do it. And she was like, no, we got to get this right. And they finished the last song. So then to see where it goes, his fame just went up and up. And by the time he got to Voodoo and Untitled happened, it just took him somewhere else that if he wasn't barely ready for Brown Sugar, you gonna think once he got up there to Voodoo, it was like he couldn't handle that. He couldn't handle it. And that's why a lot of the times he was like, all right, I'll take my shirt off first. What about that? Let me take off my shirt off first. Y'all get all that, and now let it be about the music. And it never was. And he's an artist. That's why I think he goes in a little much on Brown Sugar, because he's saying it's too polished. He knew the label let him be with Voodoo. Do whatever you want. We ain't gonna bother you. That's why he took damn near 5 years to get it done. You know what I'm saying? Because he had the Electric Studios. They doing all these other albums. He up there. All right, I'll play keys on this. While he's still doing his stuff, he's like, all right, I'll go over there and play the keys for this. Oh, all right, I'll go there and play the guitar if y'all want to. It's like he's on his own vibe. And unfortunately, in an industry like that, you can't be. So now he got so much he's fighting. He's fighting for being the person that he really wants to be, because he wants to just be an artist. That's it. Then he's fighting the thing from the church, and the churches are looking at him like, oh, you're making that devil music, and now it's sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Then he got to think about that. Then, and Angie even talked about this in one of her interviews. She said this was, she knew that it was going to hurt him. When he went to the American Music Awards, they made him get in a car with a model while Angie's pregnant with their kid, and told her to get into the car in the back because they didn't want that to happen. This is even before Voodoo. And she knew right then and there. And she was like, that was the beginning of the end of them. And she was like, when I saw the Untitled video, she was like, I lost the love of my life. And she did. So, and D'Angelo had a lot of resentment because of that. Because Angie was, to me, his soulmate. Look, they died 5 months apart from each other. Like, it's just... And like y'all said, I think of Marvin too. He's just a divided soul. Like he just one of those that you just want to just give a hug, be like, yo, it's gonna be all right, yo. Like that's what you wanted, and I got out of that because you see him come off the stage on one of those, and he's breathing hard as heck, but he like, I need a cigarette, and he's smoking. I'm like, dude, you barely can even breathe, and you sitting up there want to smoke a cigarette, like, word, like. But again, that was his, you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of, he's just one of the ones that's like, damn, yo. But now, it ain't no suffering for him no more. So now I'm looking at that, you know what I mean? He's not suffering any no more. But that documentary, I said, it's the price of fame of it all. So if he took it on that level, look what Michael and Whitney and Prince and all them had to take it on a bigger level, you know what I mean? So.
Yeah. And the sad part, bro, it's like you said, it's like, the angel and the devil on your shoulder every day. Because like you said, there's D'Angelo and then there's Michael.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And that's the thing, because it's funny because how you said, because when you said it, it's like, yo, you know, he really didn't want to be out there like that. And the first thing that popped in my head, then nigga, why you naked on a video shoot then? If you don't want to be out there like that, what you thought this was going to do. But that's the D'Angelo side.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's like Malice said, you know, came back for the money, that's the devil in me. Yeah. Had to hide it from the church, that's the Jekyll in me. You know, so many people are walking that divided soul lane, you know, because, what did you think was going to happen after Untitled video came out? Nigga, no chicks weren't going to like you. Did you really think that? You know what I mean?
Great draws in the freaking album, like a lot of the promo of it. You wearing Speedos and all of this, and when the album comes, like, what did you think? Like, hello.
Right, but again, that's the fight. That's the fight. And 1 minute is that's D'Angelo. Then Michael wants to be about the music. So who are we dealing with tonight? We dealing with D'Angelo tonight, or we dealing with Michael? Which one? Michael, the one we gotta talk off the ledge to get out here to turn into D'Angelo. Yep. You ever watch the Incredible Hulk? And Banner be like, nah, I'm not fucking with the Hulk tonight. I don't want to see that nigga tonight. You know what I mean? And no, Black Widow, go in there, hype up, boy, get him hyped to become the Hulk. We need that boy. You know what I mean? That's what I feel like D'Angelo was. It was like, you know, one day for 2-3 straight shows, you may have got D'Angelo. But by that 5th show, now he back to being Bruce Banner again.
Right.
You know? And we need you to know, no, nigga, we need you to get back to the Hulk. We need the Hulk tonight. What they say in the Avengers, but we got a Hulk. You know what I mean? We need you to come back out here, my nigga. We ain't got time for Bruce Banner tonight, my nigga.
Real.
You know what I mean? Be Bruce Banner when the tour over. But you know what I mean? So I think that's definitely the sad part. Let's talk about...
I'm sorry.
Yeah. No. You guys know what you got.
One good point to what you were saying. He mentioned this on the line on Voodoo. He said, will I hang or get left hanging? Will I fall off? Like he was kind of doing a Tupac, like if I die tonight, or, you know, he just was already kind of speaking into the existence to Michael Eugene Archer versus D'Angelo. So, yeah.
I mean, when we talk about Marvin, you talk about that. Marvin got if I should die tonight. Like,
right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And I mean, when you think about, you know, who reminds me of D'Angelo? Jay Electronica.
Oh my God.
I've heard that.
Just from the standpoint of the greatness, the disappearing acts, the popping up here and there, and you know, not want to release the music, you know, you listen to the album with him and Jay, you hear a lot of self-doubt. Will y'all like it? Will y'all gonna tear me apart? What y'all, you know, what you gonna do? You know what I mean? So
the next breath he talks about Farrakhan and Hamdulillah.
Right. So right. You know right. You know what I mean? So troubled spirits, and I think a lot of the greats are like that. You know what I mean? Because the average boys, we don't get this shit from. The niggas that we wish would take 14 years to make an album, nah, they putting out albums every 4 months. You know what I mean? It's the greats that deal with this. Let's talk about the legacy. One of the things I have for his legacy is I have him as the father of the rebirth of soul. Never been a fan of the neo soul tag, so I like to call it the rebirth of soul. I mean, Maxwell, Jill, Badu, Bilal, Jaguar, Kindred the Family Soul, Flowetry, A Touch of Jazz. So many people should be paying tithes to the Church of D'Angelo. You know what I mean? Because he is the father of that. Tone, what's one of the pieces, one of the boxes you were checking off for D'Angelo's legacy?
Oh, man. One of the boxes, check off his legacy, man. I think, like you said, man, for me, it's kind of like the rebirth of the soul, 90s soul. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it was missing for a while. Don't get me wrong, you had some bands and all that who had, the Jodeci and all them had some spirituality in their joints, but when I think of just soul music, he just reminded me of the modern Motown for me when I heard Brown Sugar. So I do feel like he set off that soul movement. They can call it neo soul, as far as like one of the little branches for 90s soul, however you want to distinguish it. But I would say, to your point, like just kind of like the father of the resurgence of the soul sound, man, in mainstream music. You know what I'm saying? So I would say that, man. I think that's a big thing to say about someone.
Yeah. What about you now, Tron? What's one of the boxes he checks?
Self-taught prodigy. His brother Luther has a story about how Luther was 10 and Mike was 3. And he goes in the room and he's like, oh, my brother's playing the piano and he's just playing by ear. Another one legacy that I appreciate about D'Angelo is he studied the greats. And that's what a lot of these young cats and women are not doing. They're not studying the greats. He came up in the church. He studied all the greats. Him and Questlove must have watched 20,000 hours of footage by James Brown, Al Green, Curtis, just how to perform, how stage presence. So I appreciate that about just studying the greats, because that's what you have to do. If you want to be the next Pete Rock or Premier, you have to study Marley, Paul C., all those guys. And lastly, he chose quality over quantity. And he could have put out 10 albums easily, but he didn't. He put out 3, Brown Sugar, Voodoo, and Black Messiah, and that's part of his legacy. And he also mixed and engineered as well with the guys too. So yeah, man, he's up there.
Yeah. Gerald, what about you?
Legacy for D'Angelo, my word is inspiration. And I say that because he came into this game inspiring. You will know.
Bro, I was just about to say, that's one of those songs that will always bring a smile to my face. Naomi was saying that one time I was going through one of my lot was going on, and they was like, yo, let's listen to music that like makes you smile. She like made a playlist of all the songs that make me smile, and You Will Know is one of those songs that just will always make me smile. You know what I mean? Incredible song that he wrote and produced.
Yes, and for him to come into the game with inspiration and to be inspirational as he was, that's just a gift. He's just a gift. Like, he was a gift to us. You know what I mean? And I just go back to a lot of people, I put him and kind of Mary together, to be honest with you. Because Mary came out and it was something that the girls in the hood could relate to.
Right.
D'Angelo did the same thing with Brown Sugar. Y'all wasn't hitting to no Brian McKnight. No. Y'all weren't connecting to him. Y'all was barely connecting to Boys to Men. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all wasn't connecting with them. They might have been doing the same type of music, but the way their image was, it wasn't connecting to y'all. D'Angelo on the front cover is wearing a leather jacket with cornrows, and that's it. And then you flip it over, he got on jeans, boots, sitting on the stool. Like, what more can you connect to that? You know what I'm saying? And then he got a song talking with the dudes. He got a song about weed. How much more can you connect to the hood? Like, you know what I'm saying? So it was like, again, but then what I liked about D'Angelo too is that he did not try to be commercial. because you know they always want you to do that. They always want you to be commercial. And I think everything was fine until we got to Untitled, because I think that is when they pushed the commercial. Because let's for real, Untitled is not even a single. Like, it don't even sound like a single. That's why the video did what it did. And I think that is what really kind of hurt him, because it was like, wait a minute, I'm changing who I am to do this. I didn't have to do this with Brown Sugar. I was wearing oversized clothes. I was wearing this and all of this. And even though I'm working out, I'm a vegan, I'm doing all of this, it seemed like a lot of the neo soul dudes was doing that. You know what I'm saying? Andre, like all of them. And it was kind of like, okay, I'm working out for me. I'm not working out for the girls. The girls love me on Brown Sugar, so why they ain't gonna love me on this? But again, he inspired. Bro, Neltron, you said Africa. You got it. He made that joint about his kids. You, at first, if you didn't have a kid, you don't really get it. But then he did. You know what I mean? And then we go to the Black Messiah, and you get there, and he got songs like The Charade and 1,000 Deaths. Again, continuing to inspire and inspire us. That's what I'm with. It's like he stayed with us and he never left at all. You can't think of, oh yeah, you knew that was a single. Like, no, all his songs didn't have to be. It was just dope and we got him. So for me, it's just him staying true to who he is, and then him being inspiring and starting what you will know. So that's my legacy.
Yeah. I feel you. For me, it's also making 3 of the most important albums of the last 25 years, really of the last 30 years. And all 3 of them being completely different. I call it the Roll, Soul, and Funk trio, because there was 3 separate things. Being the front runners of music. You know what I mean? Like, people, like what Terrence Martin said, being inspired by Black Messiah and everything like that. And like we've been talking about all day, like D to me was our Marvin Gaye. Like, I remember to this day, I was just talking to my moms earlier, like, yo, you remember when I told you Marvin died? And she was like, yeah, it was April Fool's Day, and I thought you was playing with me. You know what I mean? Because it was April Fool's Day. And I was 10 years old. It was 84. And it's kind of like everything that we've said about D'Angelo being our Marvin, that same troubled soul, and, you know, dying like this is just, you know, crazy. So definitely a dope legacy. What I do want to talk about real quick is some of the other songs that D had, because like I said, I scrounged for anything I could get my hands on with D. You got the I'll Stay, which is a Funkadelic cover off the RH Factor, the Hard Groove, Roy Hargrove, R.I.P. It's hard to believe it's been 7 years since he passed, man. Right. You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy. But that's off a Hard Groove. That's 2003. Again, that's an ill Funkadelic cover. You got Girl, You Gotta Change Your Mind, which is an Eddie Kendricks cover. That was off the Get Off the Bus soundtrack, Get On the Bus soundtrack, 1996. You got one of my favorite Prince songs, She's Always in My Hair. That was off the Scream 2 soundtrack from 1997. You got one of the joints that was supposed to be on Brown Sugar, but it wasn't. I Found My Smile Again, which was on the Space Jam soundtrack from 1996. Heaven Must Be Like This. It was on the Down in the Delta soundtrack from 1998. I know, JR, you said you weren't a fan of it, but Your Precious Love with Erykah Badu off the High School High soundtrack. Then you also got Bullshit that was off the RH Factor, again, Roy Hargrove, the Distractions album, 2006. Some of the accolades, Voodoo won the Grammy for Best R&B Album of the Year in 2001. Untitled won the Best R&B Vocal Performance. 2016, he won for Black Messiah for Best R&B Album, and Really Love for Best R&B Song. Brown Sugar right now, as of today, has sold 7 million records worldwide, and Voodoo's at 1.7. So again, we lost a real one. We lost one that, you know, I mean, that we're not, I don't know if we're going to see one again. You know, I mean, when we look at the time it took us from losing Marvin to getting D'Angelo, like, that's 12 years. I don't know what we're going to get. You know what I mean? And I'm never in no way trying to put this on anybody. I'm not saying that this person is the next, but who does remind me of D, if somebody asks me, it's going to be Leon Thomas. I'm not saying he's going to be the next D'Angelo. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that I get a similar vibe. That's all I'm saying. Like I always say, Knots is like the new Dilla because Knots is the producer who still fucks up my head, and I be like, yo, how the fuck did he do that? That's a Dilla type. I'm not saying Knots is as good as Dilla or he's the next Dilla. I'm just saying that I get Dilla vibes from that. That's how I feel about Leon Thomas. I'm in no way trying to compare the two. I'm not tagging that on him. I'm just saying that that's what I see. Tone, any last words or last thoughts about D?
Yeah, man. You know what? We all love music, so we all can be selfish sometimes. So the selfish part of me is like, man, we got 3. Man, he could have did this 3 more times, man. Like he was that great where doing those demons and everything he was fighting between Voodoo and Black Messiah, man. If in another world, he could have dropped 2 or 3 more albums in that time frame, man. Now we got 6 or 7 D'Angelo albums, man. Like he doesn't have a huge discography, but it's big enough because outside of the 3 albums, we talking about all the other features and songs that he did do. So he had a lot of work, but just that kind of ability and talent and voice, man, I wish he had 10 albums, man, because I loved him so much, you know what I'm saying? So it left something to be desired in that regard. But what he did do was so impressive and so beautiful that it'll live on.
Right. What about you, Neltron? Any last words or thoughts?
The musician's musician. He respected the craft. All the musicians that I've seen interviews with just said just the spirit he has. And one thing I know, if D was still here and I got a chance to meet him, I don't know who it was, they said, do not dap D'Angelo because he would probably dap you like 10 to 20 times, like over and over and over. But nah, man, he will be missed, man. And if y'all get a chance, go on YouTube and check out his interviews with Tavis Smiley.
Oh, amazing.
He did 2. He talks about his church background, talks about the Hawkins family. So just one of my favorite artists, period, man. And his energy still lives on, man. So his physical is gone, but his energy is still here. So.
Right. And what about you, JR?
Oh, man, he's definitely going to be missed, but the music will live forever. And, with me doing, my show, Current R&B Bangers for Real, it's like every male artist I see now is a producer and a songwriter, and their first names that come out of their mouth, that's their inspiration, is D'Angelo. So that's just enough. And these young kids, you know what I'm saying? Like, these are young, that's like 25, 20, and I'm like, yeah, y'all was just born when Voodoo was released. Like, that's crazy. And and a lot of them is like, yo, I love the way he was playing this on Brown Sugar, and we know who Bob Powell is. And I'm like, whoa, like, it just for that, just to goes to show that, like Neltron said, he was quality over quantity, and 3 was enough. He gave us enough. And to have the last song on his album, Black Messiah, Another Life.
That's true.
It's just enough. Like, he good now. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I'm telling you, that jam session up there now, you got Brent, Mike, freaking D'Angelo and Sly and all them. They rocking up there. And then they up there, you got Angie that want to grab the mic right 1, 2. Like, that jam session is nuts right now. So, but for real, he will forever be missed, and he will always be played, for me. It's not a week that go by I'm not playing either Brown Sugar, Voodoo, or Black Messiah for me. So artistic excellence.
Right. I like that, artistic excellence. So for anybody out there, prayerfully, this was a dope show for everybody who wanted to reminisce with D. But for the people out there who want to learn more about D, again, I say start at the beginning, at the top of the list. Like P said, start with Brown Sugar. Go to Voodoo. Go to Black Messiah. You know what I mean? Do your homework on YouTube. Just bring up some of the, and I would almost say do it in real time. Listen to Brown Sugar. Watch those videos. Watch some of those performances. Then go to Voodoo. You know what I mean? Watch the videos. Watch some of the performances. Go to some of the songs that we named. Then go to Black Messiah. Watch the videos. Watch the interviews. And really do it in real time. I think that really is a great way to really learn about an artist, because nowadays when you're going backwards, you can get so mixed up. And I just believe his story is so beautiful in the chronological order. So this isn't one of those artists I'll be like, oh, start with the second album, or start at the beginning. You know what I mean? Because I think that's the best thing that you could go. And I mean, really start at the beginning, start where you will know. Start where you will know. Start with that. Absolutely. Then go watch fucking Jason's Lyric, which is a slept on classic that nobody talks about. Then go into Brown Sugar. You know what I'm saying? And then do it that way. Tone, where can they get at you, good brother?
Just on Twitter, Tone of the Dome, and also ToneoftheDome.com. I reposted it and got some more writings and stuff back up, man. So just check them out. I'm here in the Dome podcast, of course, on YouTube.
All right. Now, Tron, where can they get at you, good brother?
On all social media platforms, now Tron 8000.
All right. JR, where can they get at you, fam?
Check me out. One half of the R&B representative. Shout out to Naturally Elise. And speaking of D'Angelo, we've done a catch that with every 3 of those albums. All 3 of them. Somebody came and talked about them. All in our freaking first and second season. So that just goes to show again how he is. But check us out on R&B Reps, everything. Our latest, when this comes out, our latest episode, we did Brandy Aphrodisiac, and that's a dope conversation. So check that out. Follow me on JR's World of Soul on Instagram and Twitter. Current R&B bangers I'm rocking with. JR Stacks Life, which, you know, and D'Angelo was inspired by a lot of them. So, you know, so I do those. So, you know, just giving you like 5 minutes, keeping you 5 minutes, breaking down the history of it all, not keeping you long. You know, people just, they will leave quickly if they don't get it. You know what I mean? So that's why I keep it down to there. But really just catch us on the R&B Reps. And we got a new one where we talk about Let's Talk. So me and Elise come up with a topic and we just put it out there, just talk and kind of get you ready for what the next episode of Catch That gonna be. So R&B Reps.
No doubt. And y'all know what it is with me, Kill889, Twitter, IG. Is so crazy because my mother's lighting in here is so good. I didn't realize my beard is this white. I'm literally, the whole show have been looking like, God damn, this beard is white. Like, it just didn't hit me. That's true story, y'all. And when we talk about people finding their tribes, I think we talk about things like this, like the friendships that y'all see in this room. I've never had the pleasure of meeting Tone face to face, but we talk every day on Twitter for probably the past 7 to 8 years. Same thing with Neltron. You know what I mean? And it all comes just back to the love of music. That's literally me and JR got cool off of Leon Bridges' album. Like, you know, so they're usually like an album or a conversation that somehow connects us, and that's just the love of music that we all have. So, you know, like I said, the one thing I do hate about when an artist passes, their music just skyrockets. Like I went on because Naomi was like, "Oh, I want Voodoo," and I mean it's starting like $250 on eBay now. You know, now if you would have went Monday night, it would have probably been $50. I'd be shocked if it was $50. You know what I mean? So, right, you know what I mean. It's just sad that this money isn't going to their estate. But I mean, it's just one of those things that's just I hate that about an artist's music that just escalates, but that's just part of the game. But you know, like I said, very dope show. D'Angelo, you will be missed, but like you said, Neltron going in the physical, but his presence is always going to still be here with us through all this incredible music that he gave us. So I will check y'all next week, good peoples.